Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Asian Psycho, and we're back for the 26th chapter for the Exploring the Arsenal series with me, Asian Psycho, aka Toast Sniper 98. And this time we're going to be taking a look at the, I want to say the the fourth handgun review family of reviews featuring the USP family. So let's get started on the GP standard variant of this family, the USP. Now, the USP, talking a little bit about in real life stuff, even though I'm not supposed to, the USP is designated as the USP-45 because it does fire the same caliber bullet that the UMP fires, so they're basically like, I want to say like brother sidearms. I don't know, but they're meant to be used together, and they're manufactured by the same company anyway, H&K or Heckler and Koch or Koch or whatever you want to call it. My German isn't the best, but anyways, the USP is technically called the USP-45 in real life, and because it fires such a big round, that kind of explains why Nexon gave it such a high damage in combat arms. The USP deals a solid 38 damage, which is one of the highest for a pistol of its class, but we'll get into that in just a second. And the USP, yeah, overall it's a very solid handgun. There are a few drawbacks to it though, but we'll cover that once we get in depth a little bit more in the USP in just a second. So let's get into the stats of the USP. Now the damage, like I just mentioned before, is a very solid 38. Typically, I like to think of the USP family as very similar to or in a similar situation with the M1911. If you remember back my M1911 review, I mentioned that the M1911 kind of stays on the middle of the pistol spectrum in combat arms. On one side, you've got the spammable pistols like the K5 and the G23, and on the other side, you've got the power pistols, and the M1911 is somewhere in the middle, maybe a little bit closer to the spammable pistols, but still somewhere in the middle. USP is a little bit further towards the spammable pistol side, but it's still got some characteristics that that the M1911 does have, and one of them is its very high damage capabilities. Now, like I said, how the M1911 is kind of like the hybridization of like the power pistols and the spammable pistols. The USP is the hybridization of the spammable pistols and M1911. If you get my drift, the USP kind of adopts the high power of the M1911. It doesn't deal as much damage as the M1911, obviously, but it still packs quite the punch. I think it's the second highest damage dealing, technically in air quotes, spammable pistol at 38 damage, so very solid damage right there. You just can't go wrong with it. Portability wise, it is at a very high 90. It is standard for most spammable pistols in that regard. The G23, the K5, and the M1911 all have 90 portability up till now, so USB still carries that trait. The rate of fire is is raised by 2 over the last M1911 review, which means that USB does have an accuracy of 37. Now, or actually, what am I saying? Not accuracy, but rate of fire. Rate of fire is at a 37 for the USP. Now, the M1911 did have a rate of fire of 35, so in a sense, it's pretty similar, but definitely the USP fires much faster than the M1911. Of course, still nowhere near as fast as, say, the G23 or the K5, but you can still definitely fire pretty fast with the USP. The USP does definitely have a fire rate limiter on it, though. Just like the M1911, you'll find that you can't just spray and pray like you can with the G23. So the USP or anything is meant to be used as a high damage and high accuracy pistol, just like the M1911. And the accuracy stat does reflect this. It has the same accuracy as the M1911 at 65 accuracy. So once again, you're gonna have to use the USB as a high accuracy pistol. It can be used sometimes as a spammable pistol, but it's not in your best interest. And why you should do that, we'll get into in just a moment. Recoil wise, it's actually on the higher side of things. I don't know, I'm pretty sure the M1911 did have, it only had 65 recoil, whereas the USB has 70 recoil, and that's pretty significant because that means that the recoil kickback will be indeed very high. Not as high as the M1911, but still pretty high. Or actually, it's actually much higher than M1911. I was confusing those two. And 70 recoil is definitely something to be very worried about, because 70, I don't think, I'm trying to remember if any other pistol of its similar class has higher recoil than the USP. I'm thinking it doesn't. So the USP is a very, very high recoil pistol, so you might want to be careful on that. This means that the USP is very ideal for one-clicking, but in any case, if you're not very good at one-clicking, then USB, you definitely need to know how to put your shots in very accurately. Now moving on to recoil spread. Recoil spread, just like on pretty much every other handgun except for like the G23, or if you fire too fast, then the recoil spread actually increases noticeably. The USB, because of this fire rate limiter, the recoil spread, it won't spread out too much even if you fire as fast as you can. In fact, I doubt it ever shifts at all, but I think it does have the same spread as the M1911, because they're both technically accuracy pistols, so their spreads are either identical or the USB is slightly bigger, but not by too much. Moving on to the recoil kickback, we've already discussed that, and the recoil kickback is pretty high on the USP, so do be careful of that. Now moving on to the recoil controllability. Because of its rate of fire limiter, I'd have to say that the recoil controllability overall is pretty good on the USB, but because of its very high recoil kickback, overall it's going to be not as good as, say, like the like other pistols, but still going to be pretty good. It's just that you need to know how to fire at a rate where you're comfortable with. That's the thing. Fireability wise, it's I mean, it's to be expected. The USB is a single fire pistol, so nothing to be worried about there. Sprint drawback, draw speed, center speed, reload speed, they're all very similar to all the other pistols that we have reviewed thus far, like the G23, K5, M1911, like most of them, they're all pretty similar throughout. Now, for fire modes, also, once again, it's single fire, or semi-automatic, as Nexon likes to call it. And as for luck, luck is actually on the higher side of things. Like I said, the USB is a very good one-clicking pistol, so if you ever need a gun to one-click with, USB is probably one of your best choices. Ammo capacity. The USB has a 10 limit, not very, but it still has a somewhat limited 10 round magazine capacity and 20 rounds in reserve. So that means you have three magazines total, just like the rest of the GP pistols that we have reviews thus far. Now, you will find that just like on the M1911, you're going to run out of bullets pretty fast, even though the G23 has a fast fire rate. I don't know why this is, it's just that I find myself to be running out of ammo pretty quickly. Not as fast as with the M1911, because god, that thing only had like 20 rounds, whereas at least USB has 30 rounds total, but you're still going to run out of rounds pretty quickly with the USB, so keep that in mind and be warned. Key physical characteristics. I mean, it kind of looks like the G23, but you can definitely tell that it's got some changes to it. I mean, it looks like your generic civilian handgun to begin with. I don't know how else to describe it, though. Muzzle noise. The muzzle noise is a pretty low frequency, kind of a brief boom, boom, boom noise. I'm pretty sure I failed that impersonation miserably, but I mean, that's the best noise I can get to. Hopefully you guys can listen to what it sounds like in the gameplay if you guys haven't used the USB at all for whatever reason before. Moving on to the attachment options, you can attach any modification on the USB. Fireteam worthy. I wouldn't say the USB is very fireteam worthy just because of the fact that it carries so little ammo on it. You're better off using the G23, I believe, and it'll probably do more work for you. Quarantine worthy. The only thing that I can see quarantine worthy about the USB is the fact that it does come with 90 portability, so that means you're gonna run around places very, very quickly. So running around places quickly is always a good thing for quarantine. To outrun those zombies, that is. Frank personal opinions. So let's discuss a little bit about some things about the USP first. USP, like I mentioned, is meant to be an accuracy pistol, but it's less powerful but more forgiving. So some things are traded off over the aspects of the M1911. And the biggest problems on a USP are the fire rate limiter, the high recoil, and the low ammo count. What I mean by the fire rate limiter is that on the G23 and the K5, you can find that you can fire as fast as you can click without any limitation to it at all. But on the M1911 and the USP, because the rates of fire are significantly decreased from the K5 and the G23, you'll find that if you try to fire as fast as you can, you're not able to. You just won't be able to do so. So you have to learn how to get control of the USP and USP's maximum fire rate and fire as fast as you can. Not by clicking as fast as you can, but clicking as fast as the gun will allow you to fire. So that's the trick there. And the high recoil, like I said, the USP comes with 70 recoil, so that's no small recoil count. So you're gonna have to get used to recoil, whether you like it or not. So just a heads up there. And lastly, the low ammo count. So unless you're running resourceful and you're consistently getting red box drops, be prepared to bring another backup pistol in like pistols only matches or something like that, or yeah, backup weapon in general, because you're gonna be running out of ammo with the USP pretty quickly, so keep that in mind. But overall, I think the USP is a very, very solid handgun. I still prefer the G23 just because I can spam it as fast as I can, but the USP is indeed very, very powerful. 38 damage per shot is no little damage to speak of. I mean, that's as powerful as the freaking M4A1, like a freaking assault rifle like the M4A1. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This has been the review on the USP. Next review will be on the USP Tactical, which is the GP rare variant of the USP family. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next review.
Round start. Bravo team wins.